Alright. Okay, I'm gonna give everybody a minute to get here. We're starting a little bit late today because I have a toddler and a newborn. I don't have any control over my schedule. It's the advantage of working freelance is I don't have to. If I just have to stay up until 3 in the morning writing things, I just have to stay up until 3 in the morning writing things. So, how's everybody doing? Doesn't look like we have much of anybody here right now, so I'm kind of talking to myself for the moment. That's okay, these videos are usually just me talking to myself. I post them on YouTube later. Just learn how to edit this part out. I think I said last month I was going to set up music for this part, which, you know, that would have been smart. Should probably get on that. My social media guy isn't very good. He's just busy writing all day. It's ridiculous. Gonna give it about, say, until 2:15 just to give ample time, and then we're gonna go ahead and get going here. I think it's gonna be probably a little bit longer today, but I can't promise that. I have a script, and sometimes I even stick to it. It has happened on occasion. Oh, somebody just joined us. Hello, whoever you are. I'm sure this is very exciting. Gonna give it about a minute here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get going. Just giving everybody time to tune in. Got my whiteboard. I actually got stuff on it this time, so nothing interesting, but we do have stuff on it this time, so that's cool. Alright, let's go ahead and get going. Welcome, and hello. I am Michael Kidd, and I can't stop writing. Welcome to KiddWrites Convos. Here's our August edition. It's been a really crazy month. I got COVID this month. Not fun. Don't recommend it. So put me behind on a lot of things. Yet somehow this is the month I get the video out at the time I said I was going to get the video out. Like a couple minutes late, but still the same general week I said. Crazy. So yeah, so that's been a lot of fun to have to deal with. So we have also been promoting our featured creator, Brandy Alexander, and her book Genesis. If you have not had a chance to check it out yet, do so immediately. It's great. It's a tale about a guy who can talk to ghosts having to fend off a spiritual apocalypse. Worth looking into. Give it a read. And unfortunately today is the very last day you can get a discount on copywriting jobs if you buy the book on Amazon. So, you know, if you want a discount, time to get a jump on that. So, today we're just going to dive right in and talk about rules. The thing is, when you're a writer, you have to deal with rules all the time. You've got formatting, tone, grammar, you know, you're just and that's just, you know, the big ones. You got the content you can and cannot write about. You've got client interests, just all sorts of little things that, yeah, not even to mention market demand. And these rules, sometimes they can just be really frustrating. Everybody has had to deal with a grammar snob at some point. And when you write professionally, you start to deal with the advanced level grammar snobs. Like, most of the time you run into a grammar snob on the internet, they're just pointing out that you said your when you meant you are. And that's difficult to deal with. But then you start professionally writing and people are getting on you for oh, you're using passive tense when you should be using active tense right there because it just goes better, and you're like, okay, but the thing you're suggesting messes up the entire flow of the paragraph. It's a whole thing. Which brings us to the point, when is it okay to break rules? Because sometimes as a writer, actually most of the time as a writer, you're going to have to break some sort of rule. Unless you're writing specifically for an English professor, you're going to have to break one rule or another, one convention or another at some point. A couple of examples is prepositions at the end of a sentence. The reason why... I'm getting ahead of myself in the script. I missed a paragraph somewhere. That's fun. Live TV, ladies and gentlemen. No, but my general philosophy on rule breaking is that you can break any rule as long as you understand why that rule exists and why you're breaking it. Now, prepositions at the end of the sentence is a really good one, because the thing is, the way people talk, a lot of people end words on prepositions all the time. It's one of the first things you learn when you're in conversational writing is that your English professor was wrong. You want to end sentences on prepositions. Now, the reason why it's considered incorrect is because people were trying to make sure that writing sounded different from talking. And some of this is just like, it's just classism. It's literally just people being like, we want to make sure that the educated talk more effectively than the rabble. And sometimes that's true. And a lot of the times if you're running into somebody on the internet or like a critic who's getting on you about that, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to show off that they know more grammar rules than you. But if you're writing like a legal document or a scientific document and you're trying to convey expertise, it's very, very important to remember things like not ending sentences on prepositions. Because even though it's very conversational, you're not trying to communicate conversational tones. You're trying to communicate expertise. And in that case, you have to talk in a little bit more of a deliberate way. You have to talk in a way that it's very clear. I chose every single word in here specifically, even if it feels like I had to pad this thing out with a bunch of legal or scientific technical jargon. It can't read like you filled it out with just a bunch of filler words, or that you weren't careful about how you used your words. But again, if you're doing conversational writing, you have to break that rule for the same reason, because it makes you sound different than the way people are talking. So again, if you understand why a rule exists, you can break that rule. Again, if you understand why it exists and you understand why you're breaking it, that's very important. In professional writing, another good example is product descriptions. If you go ahead and Google any style guide right now, it's going to tell you product descriptions should be 300 words long. I don't know about you. If I click on a site and I'm looking at their product description and it's 300 words wrong, there are 290 words that I am about to just completely ignore. Now, the reason why the style guide says that, just again, you want to understand why the rule exists, is because back about 10, 11 years ago, whatever it was, when search engine optimization started really being a big thing, businesses that had any form of search engine optimization made more money than businesses that didn't. And so you would wind up with businesses just finding ways to plug in keywords and phrases and structure that was written for search engines, not people. Because as long as people found you first when they were typing things into Google, it didn't actually matter. The gold standard for there was ThinkGeek. You all remember ThinkGeek at all? Their product descriptions were both well written, but also packed a ton of good SEO content into there. So if you're trying to learn how to write a product description, that's generally going to be what they talk about, or what they use as an example. But the problem is that eventually all businesses started doing SEO, started doing search engine optimization. It's standard practice now. So once it became standard practice, you weren't really making extra money if you had good search engine optimization but bad content on your site. You had to write content people wanted to read, and that meant you had to lose about 250 word minimum from product descriptions. So if you're doing professional writing and somebody asks for a product description, you're probably not going to want anything that's longer than like a paragraph. Again, if you understand why a rule exists and you understand why you're breaking it, you can break any rule. This goes for literally everything. Like, is there something taboo that you're adding into your story? Why is it a taboo? Why do you feel that you need to break that taboo? And if the only reason is because I can or because I wanna, yeah, maybe that's a good reason for you. But to the people who that is a taboo for, they're not going to be like, oh, well, that's a good enough reason. I mean, you can break taboos if you just want to. No, you have to have an actual reason. For example, compare early season Game of Thrones to late season Game of Thrones, where we all kept watching after the Red Wedding, but then Daenerys sacked King's Landing, which was full of people we didn't even like, and we were like, no, why did I watch 10 seasons of this? You can break any rule as long as you understand why the rule exists and why you're breaking it. So, just keep that in your head for all the writing you do in the future. It's also, by the way, the reason why a lot of people stop writing, because you do have to understand the rules, which is frustrating for some people, and then you have to stop understanding the rules or stop following the rules religiously, which is also frustrating. So if you know anybody who used to write a lot and stopped, that's why. So, we're about to close on out here, but before we do, I want to go ahead and announce our new featured creator. Our new featured creator is CE Chant. I'll be posting links to their content and sporadically their art throughout the day. They are an artist who does accept commissions for anybody who is looking to support them. You're going to see tons of examples of their art. They're great. They have a style that's really reminiscent of some of the web comics that are, the web comics that are really popular right now. My wife likes one, Lore Olympus. That's kind of what a lot of the style reminds me of. So if you're into that kind of art style, if you're into that kind of creative style, check them out. We will be offering discounts to anybody who supports their work for the entire month of August and the first week of... I just forgot how months worked. For the first week of September. So please check them out and support them. They're great. But for everybody else, I have been Michael Kidd. This is the KiddWrites Convo, and I can't stop writing. I forgot my own catchphrase. I am having a day, apparently. I'm just going to go ahead and sign off. You guys have a very nice day.